Good morning. Good evening. This is the King of all mediums, and I'd like to welcome you to podcast number 11. That is number 11. My favorite number is number 11 for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I have my theories. And please like or dislike the podcast and comment and subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to email me, you could at greatjewatheist@gmail.com. Greatjewatheist@gmail.com. So tonight's podcast is how I have kept sober over the last 6 months. And actually, I've pretty much kept sober since October of 19, most of the time. And we'll talk about what happened in October of 19. I had a period where I was drinking beer a little bit after that, but for the most part, I have kept sober. But I don't really do that. Keep a anniversary date and I've been 6 months sober and such and such and such and such. I don't believe in that, and maybe we'll discuss some of the reasons why I don't. You might say, why is it working? Why am I sober for at least the last 6 months? Okay, from August. Actually, I'd say early August of the so it's probably been a little more. Almost 7 months. Why have I been sober? What has been my method? Okay, some of you are struggling, and you might say, "Well, maybe it's working." So maybe he has something that I might try out, right? So my number one, I believe, is medication. Okay. See, I think for some reason, medication is often overlooked, and one day I'd like to do a podcast on this. It's very anti-medical. People are very anti-medical. They think they're their own doctor. Like somehow they know better than the doctors out there. Allopathic medicine is a very excellent profession, and it can help you very greatly. Is it perfect? Of course not. Okay, you always hear disasters when there is an allopath when medicine fails somehow. You always hear the disasters, but you never hear the successes. So one of the doctors I think did an excellent job. I give her a shout out, Dr. Borg, B-O-R-G. If you have an addiction issue, she's very good. She has a private practice, and if you have a lot of money, she's in Yorkville, in Manhattan. You go see her. She's very good. Excellent doctor. So I feel you're wasting your time with psychotherapy. Okay? And I'll talk about why. So what you need to do is get on the right medications. So the first thing they did, they diagnosed me as having bipolar disorder, bipolar 2. So knowing psychiatrically what you have can then figure out what you need. So they saw that I was getting these bad depressions, and I would have to drink and use drugs, and so now they could give me some good medication that can help me. And so they said, "Well, what are the medications?" Well, the best medication I found when I've used it is Topamax. I've had no interest in alcohol at all. So Topamax is usually for migraine headaches, but one of the off-the-label uses is for alcohol cravings, and it's worked very well for me. Now, there's a woman I know, I keep in contact with over Facebook, and she's been having severe alcohol-related issues. So I recommended it to her, but she said that it's only good for people with bipolar disorder, like me, which I have bipolar 2, more rapid cycling. So I get into highs, manic highs, and then I go into lows. But in the last few months, I have not had a low. Okay, so um, second one is the medication for bipolar disorder. So it controls your moods at the highest ends and the low ends. So the highest ends don't get too high, and the low ends don't get too low. The big problem with it, though, is that right now with the COVID, it's not too bad. But when you have to go back into work, it could get bad because it makes you very sleepy, and it's hard to make it. It's hard to make this lazy hippie 7.5 hour day. Add on 7.5 hours, 2 hours on each end, so that's much 9.5 hours plus commuting, putting on your clothes. That's a long day. You do it 5 days a week. Except you like to sleep. Okay, and the final in the triumvirate that is helping me, I think, a lot is antidepressants. I found the antidepressant is working for me. It didn't work because when I was drinking, it didn't work. So you can't drink on it. It will ruin its effect. But Cymbalta, and I take 90 milligrams of that daily. I find that works very well. I don't get very depressed too much. So when you control some of these emotions that, are getting these terrible moods and that were making you depressed, what can happen is that you can now see that life isn't that bad. Okay, I've been going through a kind of crisis right now with my building. They're trying to kick me out for some reason. They say it's so messy, people get roaches, but I've had people come over to clean up, spend quite a bit of money. I said, now what's your problem? And so I've had it, I said to the super today, hey, listen, I he took pictures of my apartment without telling me, just pull out his phone camera. So I'm trying to get to the tenant complaint, New York City tenant complaint. They said, well, we'll call you back. And of course, they didn't call me back. But I'm going to try again. So I'm not giving up on it. I want to make sure this is in the record that he has done this and this is not right. But okay, so those three medications, the Topamax, the bipolar medication, which is called Depakote, and the antidepressants really help me because now I feel pretty good. And now I don't get these terrible depressions where the only thing that could cure me is the alcohol, the cocaine, benzos, which of course lead to horrible, horrible side effects. Okay, so now I'm happy. I don't have to, Okay. Oh, I forgot. We'll call it 3A. Okay. Hopefully, I don't forget that one. Okay. Number two is I'm truly convinced it is better not to drink than to drink. Right. So I look at the pros of drinking and the pros of not drinking. The pros of not drinking are better. I said to myself, what's so great about drinking? You get up, you feel okay, you get a nice little buzz, but then you wake up the next day, you're like, wow, dizzy, head's not feeling good, I get these other symptoms, my heart might be pacing, When I need it, I know every day I get up, barring some, unforeseen thing, like cholesterol too high, whatever, get a heart attack or something, every day I get up, I'm going to feel pretty good, with the medication from with the medications that control my moods, and with the fact I'm not drinking, I know I'm going to feel pretty damn good. Right? I never feel bad. I've had a little stress, so that's made me a little angry, and I've had to kind of put this little Colombian lady, had to put a little scare into her, let's say, but 7% Italians have to do that sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to do those things because people step on you, you have to put a little scare into them, But so I'm truly convinced it's better. I just wake up, and I say, okay, let's take the drinking Dave, and the drinking Dave. Okay, so he goes and he has a few drinks, and he comes home and dumps into bed, and you know, and what happens? He wakes up and he's like, oh my God, we sleep all day, I feel crap, and then he just doesn't feel good all good the next day. So much better. So those one and two are the medication making me feel good, and number two saying, what's so great about drinking anyway, right? It's going to make you feel like shit the next day. It's like the worst thing you could do. You're putting this poison in your body. It's going to ruin your next day. Okay, so those are the first two strategies I've employed to stay sober. Number three, I've gotten my life into a better place. I enjoy my Twitter feed. I get a lot of good feedback from people. I think they're enjoying it. I hope they are. At Hip Dave's Lounge. I'm doing my podcast. I don't have many views, but, you know, we're going to work on it. Hopefully we're going to improve it, you know. Hopefully we're going to make it a better podcast that, you know, maybe one day we'll have 100,000 views or, you know, maybe 1,000 views, you know, whatever. Then I said to myself, well, this isn't going too great, so how can I improve them? I never get too down. I say, well, maybe I'll, you know, right now I'm getting like 10, 15 views per podcast, not even that. How can I make it 100? Then I get 100, I get excited. I said, you know, this is pretty good. I'm going to make it 1,000. You see, that's how you get a little life, you know. Make it. So now that's a great thing. It's always something to do. I've set up, I think that's one strategy I found that's really working. I have always something to do. I can't say, like the drunk Dave would say, how am I going to get through this day? You know, how am I going to get through this day? You know, what am I going to do? You know, okay, you know, watch the TV. I watch, what was the show I used to watch all the time? The Big Bang Theory. I used to have cable TV, and I used to dress. How much longer is the Big Bang Theory? Then what am I going to do next? And I'm like, I have too much to do. I could read the People's Almanac too. I could read my 30-minute fitness book. I could read, you know, I have that book that has the 1,001 the singles of all time. I'm up to 997. I could play 4 of those. I could read Behave by Robert Sapolsky. Read 2-3 chapters in that, you know. So much to do. I could prepare for my next podcast. That's how you live life. You make, so I might not get to most of it, but there's so much to do. I'm so excited. You know, like, what do I do next? It's so much fun. Drunk Dave. What do I do next? So I have some kind of structure built. You know, so I have my Hip Dave's Lounge. You know, I have set up, you know, 7 days a week. I have every day. I have something set up. Of course, I have my, you know, job where I earn money. You know, and then I have that, and I have my podcast. I have, you know, structure. I have, you know, basically I have a topic like this, how I stay sober, and then I have a couple of things I do in the podcast. I'm going to my top views. I'm going to do fines, or we're going to have to cut back on that part because I've looked at my bank account and it's not too good. So we're going to have to build that baby up. So right now I'm going to probably shut down everything except maybe reel-to-reel purchases until March 24th. So I'm going to stop everything. Okay, 3A. Now this is another thing I'm reading at. Not going to any alcoholic support groups. Okay. Now, many people would say, well, "What are you doing? You got to go." No, I do not like AA. I do not like. Depresses me, to tell you the truth. These support groups, these, you know, they talk about, oh, you know, first of all, you see the girls, they always have the abusive boyfriend, and they talk about the guys, the wives that left them, the divorces, you know, my baby's mama, you know, my baby's father. It's just really depressing, you know. One guy was like, you know, every week he had to go because he got married or some older guy. He got married and he tried to get the marriage. And, it's just a mess. So, you know, it's just depressing. I hear this stuff. I don't need that. Who needs to take that into my life? I built my life where I built it to low stress. That's what I've done. I don't need this stuff. I don't need to hear about people's problems. I have my own problems. Right? I minimize on problems. Everyone has a lot of problems. That's what life's about. Problems, you know? Because life wasn't made. You know, in fact, we live a very good life, you know. A lot of these wokesters don't realize that our lives are tremendously good compared to our ancestors. It wasn't too good back in the day. They think it was good because some woke professor said, "Oh yeah, it was beautiful in the hunter-gatherer stage. We hunted, we gathered, and then 3 o'clock we were hanging out naked and making love all day and all these things." So 3A is I do not go to Alcoholics Anonymous or any support group because it depresses the shit out of me. Right? It's like, I don't want to hear your crap. I have no use for your problems. I got my own problems. And my problems is how am I going to get laid? I don't want to hear about you getting divorced. I don't want to hear about your baby's father threatening you. I have no use for that. Your husband is, your husband took all your money or whatever the crap is. So don't like them, don't go. Not interested. Another thing is psych therapy. Horrible. I mean, unless you got one of these Fifth Avenue psychiatrists like Howard Stern or something, forget it. What a waste of time, money. I'll tell you some more stories about why therapy stinks, and tell you my own experiences on therapy. It'll be a good podcast, so yeah, we'll do that at one point. And number 4 is I'm not too worried about getting laid. Back, I mean, even last, before, I'd say pre-COVID, I was obsessed with getting laid. I mean, I said, after I made my comeback, which was September of 2018 to COVID, so let's say September 2018 to March 2020, I was obsessed about getting laid. I said, I'm going to get laid. I'm going to figure it out. Because I'm like, kind of a go-getter guy. I'm like, I'm not just going to let everything come to me. I'm going to go get it because I'm like that, And it wasn't working. I met this one girl, and she was this girl, Jennifer, and she eventually moved. But I said some things that kind of downgraded myself, and I eventually thought that was. But she's kind of a pretty girl, too. She's 38, 39. I fucked that up. But I think I could have had her with the right, could have dated her. I tried to go take her to a nice restaurant. She was like, "Oh no," asked for a number. "Oh no, I don't give out my number." Great line in one of the what is it with what's it? Phil Lynott. What's that group? Anyway, one of the lines in the song, "The chick doesn't want to know, forget her." What a great piece of wisdom. The boys are back in town. There's a line in that song. I think that if the chick doesn't want to know, forget her. So right. And but now, this starting new philosophy, this brand new philosophy I have about life is build it and they will come. Just do your life and fuck these women. Who needs them? Who needs them? I'm stressing myself out. Oh, I gotta get laid. I gotta get a woman. I don't need this shit. So what? Some guys as a chick, big deal. Good for him. Good for you. I don't need it. What am I going to get? Am I going to get fucking Kim Kardashian? I mean, come on, get some fat chick, fat chick, no great shakes. What am I going to get? No rich guy, no handsome guy, whatever. So my theory is just go and do your life, and maybe something will come along. Who knows? If they come along, I'm like, meh. Okay, so that's how I was saying. So basically, I'm doing my life, having fun, do my life. So that's my theory. Do your life, have fun. And don't worry about drinking. Don't go to these AA meetings. It's horrible. Or if you need support, that means you want to drink. So your life's not working. So to me, get your life working first. Or by the way, one little caveat. If you're just starting to become sober, yes, AA is good. Yeah, AA is good, or support groups are good at first. I would say about a year. But after that, once you got things rolling, you kind of know where you're going, and you kind of feel things are working, and you see you got off the alcohol, and you got the good medication, and gone. Don't go to them. Trust me on this. Worst thing, I couldn't wait to get out of those fucking things. They trap you, and I had to pay for a P-test $20 a week. P-test $20 a week, multiplied by 52. And we're talking $1,000 just for P-tests, and that was my insurance paying for it. All right, and then I'd have to go twice a week, right? So that's $40 And you do the math. That's $3,000 a year to go to these freaking for what? You know. All right. So that takes care of our part on how I'm staying sober. So now in the next part we're going to go. Now Friday I gave the my top upload views, but I soon discovered by serendipity I was wrong. And by the way, any of these videos can be found very simply by going to the search box, typing the name of the song, and typing at Hip Dave's Lounge. Okay, so again, any of these songs can be found by going to the search box in Twitter, typing the name of the song, and typing at Hip Dave's Lounge. Now, so I found by accident that I was wrong. Here is the new top 5, okay? Coming in at number 1 still is Something by the Beatles with 141 views. In the format, medium, it's vinyl, right? So it's still number 1. But coming in close second, look at that. Flying by the Beatles, which is taken off to my surprise. Some people love this song. And I uploaded this not too long ago, maybe like the weekend, right? Sunday. I uploaded this Sunday. So that's probably 4 days ago. So it should overtake. I know, but sometimes they die. I remember in my life by the Beatles, I thought it was going to go knock something out, but it just died. 128 uploads of vinyl, but it's very strong, so it's rising fast, like Helter Skelter. Now here's the one I found by accident. I typed in its name and said, "Had to Hip Dave's Lounge." Something Else, which is a song I love, by the way. And I think it's kind of a response to Something. It's a beautiful song. And it had, how many does it have? 88, and had 88 views. And I said, wow. So I've been leaving it out all this time. So the Quiet Beetle has 2 of the top 3, I do believe. And he has a writing credit on 2. So he has a writing credit on, right? So he had all 4 Beatles. I think that's the only song flying they had a writing credit on. So look at that. Something flying and Something Else. Or a Beatle is involved in the top 3. So isn't that amazing? So 140, 141, 128, and 88, top 3. Okay, so that's why I had to change it. So Friday there will be no, we'll do it next Friday, the Friday after that, sometime early March. Now what comes forth is The Walk of Life, which is by Dire Straits, 81 from the Brothers in Arms CD, and that is 81. Kind of leveled off. It's very strong, but it didn't have the power that it had. So 81 for that. Now the final one at 80 is another vinyl and another Beatles song. Is the Ballad of John and Yoko, which has 80, and it's also a vinyl. Okay. So those are the top 5 as of today. Being knocked off the list, poor Grand Funk Railroad song, I Come Tumbling. Again, an excellent song. You should YouTube it. It's I Come Tumbling, no G, at 79. You see the sad face. So, gotta watch it though. It might make a strong comeback. A highly recommended song. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, today's finds, and again, we will be. Oh God. Now, today's finds, there are 6 basic mediums. There are other mediums, of course, and if you, I think it's Technomone. If you want to see a great, this guy's terrific, you know, he's so good. I think it's Technomone, Technomoan. Just look him up. He will show you there are other than 6, but what are the 6? There's the tapes, there's audio tape, reel-to-reel tape, there's 8-track tape, there's cassette tape, then there's a vinyl, there's a CD tape, that's 5, and there's CDs, and there's, of course, DVDs. I have 4 of the 6 today for the finds. Now, the first find is maybe the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And this is what it is. What is it called? The Kinks. It's the Kinks, the Ultimate Collection. And not that the Kinks should be a group, but you know, the Kinks are one of the greatest groups of all time. I always said that after the Beatles and the Stones, there's a bunch of groups that I would put into that class at heart. I have to think it over more, but I'd say they're in that group that thing. But this CD is a two CD sets, and I highly recommend it. And I said I'm not going to buy compilations anymore. But when I saw this, I got it. Like, listen to some of this. It really got me. All day and all night. Tired of waiting for you. Everyone's going to be happy. Never heard that. Set Me Free, of course. See my friend now. Till the End of the Day. Dedicated Flower of Fashion. Sunny Afternoon. Dead End Street. Waterloo Sunset. Death of a Clown. Autumn Almanac. Susanna like two Dave Davies songs, which aren't good. Okay, there's a couple other fillers. Victoria, great song. Lola, of course. Eight Man. There's a couple other songs that aren't great. That I haven't heard. They might be great. This too, David Watts is a great stuff. Stop Your Sobbing, which I think the Pretenders made popular. Some other songs, Where Have All the Good Times Gone, of course. Well Respected Man, great song. Celluloid Heroes, great song. Wish I Could Fly Like Superman, Do It Again, Living on a Thin Line. All one CD. how can you go wrong? I mean, I think I paid $14 for this. I mean, this is like, got it, must. So again, it's Kinks, the Ultimate Collection. BMG is the maker. I think it's from the UK. So there you go. Let's see what else we have today. So yes, I have one of each except cassettes, and so cassettes and vinyl, not represent here. Okay, the next thing is an 8-track tape, and this is Cheap Trick. Okay, I'm doing a lot of Cheap Trick lately. I looked at their first album, and this is I think their fifth album. I do believe fifth album. The Dream Police. They're going out of my head, and this is a great album. I think George Martin was the producer. Dream Police, Voices, Way of the World. I think I did this already. Oh, yeah. Did I do this already? All right, so I only got 3 today. Sorry about that, Gino. All right, so we only got 3 today. All right, yeah, a little shorter. Yeah, I think I did that yesterday. All right, so reel to reels, don't know what to get. I'm trying to bid on them, but people, what they're doing is they wait till the last second and zap me, but I don't want to pin too much on it, but that's probably the only medium I'm going to have to buy. So I'm a little short on them. This is now my 4th pre-recorded real one. And this is Barbra Streisand, Stony End. I'm not sure what's on it. I know Stony End by Laura Nyro is a hit, but there's a lot of great writers on here. I Don't Know Where I Stand, Joni Mitchell, Hands Off the Man, Laura Nyro, Flim Flam Man, If You Could Read My Mind, Gordon Lightfoot, Just a Little Loving, Barry Mann, Cynthia Wilde, songwriting team, Let Me Go, Randy Newman, Stony End, Laurie Nyro, No Easy Way Down, Goffin and King, Time and Love and Laura Nyro, Maybe, Harry Nilsson, Free the People, Barbara Keithan, and ends with I'll Be Home, Randy Newman. So there's a lot of great songwriters on this. And of course, Barbra Streisand is a great voice. Okay, so, and she's going to have some, and let's see, they even have the musicians. Let's see, Hal Blaine, Joel Osborne, Larry Knechtel. I guess this is the, what they call those guys? Wrecking Crew. Randy Newman's on piano. Larry Kaufman, I think, is on guitar here. Let's see, any famous... Oh, look at that. Eddie Kendricks is on background singing, backing vocal. Wow. So even, most people think, oh, it's gay, intro politically. But that's kind of Barbara Streisand. But it's a great album, probably. Yeah, just looking at it. Okay, and the final one, so maybe I'll do 5 tomorrow. Yeah, I think I can do 5 tomorrow. I know I have. So I'm cutting back. I could do a lot today, but I'm kind of cutting back because of I'm cutting down on buying stuff. So there will not be many finds going forward. So I know I have 4 for tomorrow, but there might be 4 coming in. It was a lot coming in today. It was 7 coming in. So I do have enough tomorrow. Tomorrow, if nothing comes in. So, okay, and the final, if you can believe your eyes and ears, the mamas and the papas, okay? The white fifth dimension, okay? They're the white fifth dimension. You have to say that these days. Okay, the mamas and the papas, okay? Now, genius of John Phillips. And by the way, my father, his birth would have been his 95th birthday yesterday. Evolution, bless him. Okay, and John Phillips had a fascinating life. He has a biography out, and if you want to get entertained, just read that. My brother bought that, and he always talked about it. Some of the stories and further revealed. I don't think that was in the biography. It was his sex with his daughter, Mackenzie Phillips. Very shocking incest. I think it went on for 10 years. So the mamas and the papas, of course, because of the 4 members. John Phillips, who's on the first guy here, and then who is that? That's Mama Cass Elliott. Naomi Weinberg, I think. Naomi Weinberg. It's tough being a Jew in this world. You think it's easy? Denny Doherty, and the beautiful, of course, the one laying across, Michelle Phillips. What's interesting here, see this thing? They had a toilet. Originally, it was just a toilet here. You can see it being covered up. And if you could get that copy, that's worth a lot of money. So if you ever get that copy, it's being covered up by this thing. Includes California Dreaming, of course, the famous single. And they also, by the way, the Mamas and the Papas, they also used the Wrecking Crew. So they were basically John Phillips playing guitar, 3 backing singers, and 3 singers. Well, they could sing front lead. I should say backing singers. There were some lead singers and the Wrecking Crew. So the Wrecking Crew were amazing. I think they Hal Blaine and all those people. They have a get something on the internet. Just YouTube, go onto a Wrecking Crew, and you'll see something about them. It's very fascinating. These great session men. They're so talented. They're able to, how talented these people must have been to be all these great singles. Okay, so you go to the back, and this is it. By the way, this is their debut album. If you go in the back, and by the way, again, the Mamas and Papas are the group you would buy a greatest hits for, but I decided that I would instead buy one of their albums and say, well, should I buy another? Maybe. I'm thinking about it, but again, March 24th would be the next period I would do that. Now, and if you look at the back, they tell you some information about the Mamas and the Papas, and they give you the track list. Side 1 begins with Monday. Monday, of course, is a great song. Straight Suit is a good song. The rest of the kind of stuff, it's kind of filler. Got a Feeling, I Call Your Name, it's a Beatles song. Not bad. Do You Want to Dance? Meh. Go Where You Want to Go is a great song. The thing is, they didn't have as much success as the Fifth Dimension, the group I mentioned, which the Mama and Papas was a white version of. Okay, so that's side 1, and then we go to side 2, which begins, of course, with the great California Dreaming, which I don't think people dream about anymore because it's become a socialist Bolshevik state, and you see what happens when Democrats take over and bring their insane fucking ideas. You wanted it. This is what you want. So you're going to bring all these ideas to the rest of the country. So this is what happens when insane fucking Democrats and their socialist, idiotic ideas take over. You tax people crazily. People move out. You don't have tax base. There you go. So there's no more California dreaming. Get out of California. Dreaming out of California. Okay, Spanish Harlem. They do a nice version. It's the Lieber, Jerry Lieber and Phil Spector. You know, the guy who recently died. Song. Somebody grooving, not too good. It's John Phillipson. Hey Girl, You Baby, the In Crowd. That's the rest of the album not too good. So I read reviews of it, and they were like, "Wow, great album, the greatest album of all time." I don't get it. I mean, there's some great. I mean, Mom's and Monday, of course, California Dreaming, and the Go Where You Want to Go. 3 great songs, and Straight Shoes, okay, but not a 5-star album. Sorry, maybe 3.5, 4. I give it 3.5 stars. But okay, so all right. Well, okay. So that concludes today. Today was February 24th, and thank everyone for starting the podcast. Yeah, we will go on time. I wasn't supposed to go on today because but I enjoy podcasting so much, and I wanted more people to watch it. I think they enjoy it. I don't know why more people aren't enjoy. I mean, I'm getting I'm up to 220 followers, which isn't much. You say if 10% of the people watch the podcast or start to view it, many will turn it off because they don't want to see this pretty face, right? Then I'll have 22 views. So that's basically what I would expect. But 10% of the people aren't watching the podcast. So we'd have to figure out why and try to get those numbers up. But I enjoy it. I enjoy just watching myself and getting. I think if they're not watching the podcast, get the end of it. I think go back. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, thank you. And again, it's great. JewAtheist@gmail.com. Please comment on the podcast. I love feedback. I think this one spam person, I guess he was trying to get some kind of virus on my computer, but no, this fat guinea, 7% guinea, did not do that. So, all right, take care.